Hello everyone. In this video, I want to talk about the benefits that can come from deleting social media and why I think that you should try it yourself. You don't have to permanently deactivate your accounts. You can just simply remove the apps and then re-download them later if you choose to do so. Social media is a big part of all of our lives at this point, and I know that it was initially created to connect people and to keep us updated on our friends' lives. However, I think there are certain aspects of social media that negatively impact our well-being and attention span, and I think it can be really difficult to have a healthy relationship with it. Your attention determines the experiences that you have, and the experiences that you have determine the life that you live. Deleting social media can have a profound impact on your life, especially if you struggle with anxiety, loneliness, or feeling lost like I have. It may seem like a big step to take, and I get it, and for some of you it may even be your livelihood, but if you are able to, I really encourage you to try taking a break from it. Like many, I grew up as a teenager on the internet, and I have had many positive experiences over the years. I'd obsess over my MySpace and Tumblr pages, and I remember I would love having deep conversations with people online through platforms like MSN. I was far more comfortable behind a screen versus in real life when it came to expressing my feelings and being myself, whereas now it feels like quite the opposite. I decided to delete my social media apps just pretty much as an experiment back in August 2022. And I did that because I am very interested in finding ways to live a less anxious and less distracted and more meaningful life. I was feeling quite anxious and lost and lonely, and I started to question the value that these social media platforms added to my life. And I started to feel like actually maybe they were negatively impacting my life. I finally took the step to delete the only social media apps that I really used at the time, which were Instagram and Facebook, after thinking about it for months and putting it off. The only platform that I decided not to delete was YouTube, obviously, and I'll explain why later. Even though I didn't even particularly enjoy using those social media apps very much, I would still find myself getting caught up in the distraction of them and mindlessly opening the apps. I'd often go to use my phone for a specific purpose, such as checking the weather, and then I'd somehow find myself scrolling through videos of cats or on someone's Instagram story, and I'd think, like, how the fuck did I even get here? I want to make it clear that I'm not saying that everyone has to delete social media or that it is inherently bad. Everyone is different, and I'm just sharing my own personal experience and the benefits that I and many others have found. So firstly, you can regain control of your attention and time. I think everyone knows at this point that social media and our phones can be quite addictive and distract us from what truly matters in our lives. The very design of social media aims to capture our attention and keep us hooked, much like a slot machine. The notifications, scrolling, and the fear of missing out contribute to their addictive nature. So as I said earlier, I personally decided not to delete YouTube when I deleted my social media apps. This is because YouTube offers long-form content that is often educational, insightful, and informative. Obviously, not all content on YouTube is like this, so I still have to be careful about what I choose to consume. So by being on YouTube in moderation, I can still have meaningful experiences and expand my knowledge and gain new perspectives, and it obviously allows me to post these videos which channel my own creativity. With the emergence of platforms like TikTok, Snapchat, Stories, and now even YouTube Shorts, there is a noticeable shift towards shorter, bite-sized content. These platforms cater to our shrinking attention spans and the desire for quick, easily consumable information. However, there are many drawbacks to this trend. Short-form content can contribute to a decrease in our ability to focus for extended periods and inhibit deep thinking. Stepping away from social media has allowed me to feel more present and engaged with the world. My ability to focus has improved, and I have literally felt time slowing down. Without constant fragmentation of our attention, we are able to be way more productive and fulfilled, which is essential for pursuing our goals, no matter how big or small. The time I used to spend on social media turned into moments of stillness and calm in my day. At first, it did feel strange and I had the urge to distract myself, but that didn't last for too long. It's interesting how just being still and reflecting on our thoughts can feel unfamiliar and challenging. Many people struggle with meditation because we've become accustomed to filling any moments of solitude with distractions. Another benefit from disconnecting from social media is that you can gain mental clarity. Social media platforms are filled with an overwhelming amount of information, opinions, news, and updates. Our brains have not evolved to handle the constant exposure to endless content, and it can really overwhelm the mind and make it difficult to focus. When using social media, our default mode is often to seek distraction and avoid boredom at all costs. However, disconnecting from it and allowing ourselves to be alone with our own thoughts becomes an essential part of our personal growth. These moments of solitude are crucial for our development as humans. They give us the opportunity to reflect on the world around us and to delve into our own thoughts and emotions. It creates space for introspection and self-reflection and allows us to reconnect with our own goals, values, and desires. By constantly seeking distraction, we miss out on these really valuable moments of self-discovery. Despite being seen as a negative emotion, boredom serves a purpose. It pushes us to engage in higher quality activities and to be more productive. The constant access to social media often short-circuits this instinct and prevents us from fully experiencing the benefits of boredom. Obviously, it's possible to be distracted by things outside of social media, but I think there is a significant contrast between intentionally setting time aside for, say, watching TV versus having social media on your phone, in your pocket, all the time, constantly tempting you to get distracted. Once I got rid of social media, I did find myself actually wanting to read more books and go on more walks outside. I also found myself singing and playing the piano more often. It motivated me to actually reflect on what my true interests are and what actually brings me happiness in life, and I'm still slowly figuring that out even now. So another benefit is the impact that it had on my anxiety. I have felt a lot of anxiety throughout my life, and I have a tendency to feel over-responsible for others and the state of the world, and that is due to my own childhood traumas. It became very easy to use social media as a distraction when I would feel anxious, yet at the same time, the content that I was consuming would end up just making me feel even more anxious over time. When you are living in the world of social media, it can really feel like a scary and overwhelming place. It can be full of negativity and divisiveness, and it's often what these algorithms of these platforms thrive off. It can really start to skew your perception of the world and other people around you, and it can make things start to feel way more intense than it often is. Cancel culture has also gained prominence in society, and it is not something that I usually agree with. I worry about living in a world where making mistakes is unacceptable and could lead to public vilification. Making mistakes is an inevitable part of being human and growing, and intentions do matter. I don't always view the world in simple terms of right or wrong, and it is worrisome to see how social media can amplify and contribute to the trend of canceling other people. Deleting social media definitely felt like a tremendous relief when it came to minimizing the high levels of anxiety that I was feeling. Considering how recent social media and our smartphones are in the context of human history, it's really no wonder why it can overwhelm our brains and generate an underlying sense of anxiety. Being constantly connected to everything and everyone can definitely take a big toll on our well-being. I remember waking up and going on Instagram, and I would immediately see distressing posts about how the planet is dying. I can worry a lot about climate change, and it's something that I really care about. And I do think that people should be informed and not ignorant when it comes to something so important. However, I don't need to be convinced of climate change, and I'm already doing everything that I can when it comes to helping the environment. So I don't need the constant reminders, as it would cause even greater anxiety and kind of just set the tone for my day. So instead, I can research climate change on my own terms through other sources, and I can take care of my emotions in healthier ways. Now that I have disconnected from social media, it has definitely helped me to feel less anxious. Another aspect of social media that can fuel anxiety and other uncomfortable emotions is the social comparison that can arise from using these platforms. Social media often leads us to compare ourselves to others, whether it's knowingly or unknowingly, and can lead to feelings of inadequacy, envy, and dissatisfaction with our own lives. We can often measure our own worth and success based on the lives of others. People on social media typically only showcase their best moments and appearances, creating an unrealistic standard, and constant exposure to these perfect images can really start to harm our own self-image. We all have insecurities, right? And we should be embracing our own unique and beautiful imperfections and not feel the need to conform to online standards. Being off social media has definitely allowed me to practice more gratitude and actually really be appreciative for what I have in my life. The constant advertisements that are now on social media often reminds us of what we lack, pushing us to want more and to feel inadequate. I saw the Kardashians on TV the other day, and if I watched them enough, I would start to feel like I lived in a shack, which is insane because I live in a beautiful home, which, by the way, is not mine. I'm currently living here with my partner in my mum's house temporarily to save money in Sydney's insane expensive rental market. But the fact is, I am so much more fortunate than so many people on the planet simply to just have a stable roof over my head. I'm so fortunate to even have running water to begin with. It is so much easier to be grateful for what you have in your life when you are not constantly viewing and comparing yourself to the lives of others. By disconnecting from social media, you can liberate yourself from the pressure of having to keep up with others, and you can shift your focus inward. This shift allows us to appreciate our own journey, accomplishments, and experiences, leading to more self-acceptance and contentment in life. The last benefit that I will mention is the impact that it can have on your friendships when you remove yourself off social media. A big reason that I decided to experiment with deleting social media was because I was feeling quite lonely. Despite thinking that it would make me feel even lonelier, I realized that constantly seeing people that I had either lost touch with or had never even met in real life was increasing my loneliness. So I let people know that I was taking a break from social media by just writing in my bio on Instagram and Facebook, and then I deleted the apps. Social media can create the illusion of having many friends, but the number of virtual friends doesn't necessarily mean genuine connections. I've always preferred having just a few close friends rather than having heaps and heaps of shallow friendships. But in the virtual world, somehow I ended up with thousands of Facebook friends and following and being followed by hundreds of people on Instagram. Taking a break from social media can feel scary, and it might feel like you're going to miss out on things. At first, my social world definitely felt smaller and a bit strange. If I would meet up with someone or family came over and they would talk about some viral video, I would have no idea what they were talking about, but how much does that really matter? It is still possible to get invited to and to attend social events through word of mouth and by your friends contacting you through other means. Stepping away from social media allows you to assess the quality and authenticity of your friendships, and it can actually create space to feel desire to want to make new friends that actually align with where you are currently in your life. We really don't need constant update from our friends, which on these platforms are usually just through the form of photos, videos, likes, and the occasional comment. Don't get me wrong, it is beyond amazing to be able to connect with people all around the world, But the reality is, you don't need these platforms to be able to stay in touch with people. By being off social media, you can recognize which of your friends actually make the effort to make contact through other means, such as phone calls, text messages, and in-person interactions. You can discover who you actually want to reach out to and who you have the urge to spend time with. You can decide who you actually want to be surrounded by and who challenges you, who adds value, meaning, and joy to your life. I have been quite a homebody for many years since my dad died. However, after taking myself off social media, I actually felt the desire to want to meet people in person and to actually make more effort. I craved genuine interactions, and I started to just feel more socially confident within myself and more present with those around me. We are losing the ability to be comfortable and vulnerable in real life interactions. It can often feel easier to be vulnerable and express our feelings to someone online rather than in person. It is so easy to use our phones and social media as a crutch when you do feel socially anxious and just want to disengage from your environment, even when you are around other people. But there is so much beauty and growth in those vulnerable moments with others, which help form deeper and genuine connections. By deleting social media, you can find the courage and desire to interact in person, to be your true self, and develop deeper and authentic relationships. So yeah, that was all probably a lot to get through, but these are the main benefits that I have experienced from deleting social media, and I have no plan to return to social media anytime soon. I really encourage you to take a break from it yourself and to see the positive impact that it could have on your life. Remember, it doesn't have to be a permanent choice. You can simply just remove the apps and return to it whenever you like. You might find that some apps work for you, like YouTube does for me, and so you are practicing more so digital minimalism rather than having absolutely no social media whatsoever. Thank you for watching, and please subscribe to my channel if you have found any value from any of my videos, and please leave a comment if you've had any thoughts or feelings that have resonated with you, and please have a lovely day or night wherever you are, and stay hopeful.